Well, everyone's favorite photojournalist in gaming has returned in Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. I picked it up in the Xbox store last night, marathoned 8 hours through the 72-hour mode. Yeah, I've got a lot of good, a little bit of bad to say about it. Into it, let's get. But before we get started, I want to give a quick mention to my buddies over at calderalab.com. If you want to never look like a zombie, use the good serum. And you can save 15% with my coupon code FRY15 at checkout. Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster is the latest in a long line of Capcom remastered classics, updating older gameplay and graphics, now using the RE engine, which is excellent for slicing and dicing zombies. Honestly, RE engine is my favorite engine of the current generation, offering very good frame rate, solid graphics, lighting, all the bells and whistles. Once again, Frank West returns to the Willamette, Colorado shopping mall where he has to uncover the scoop, what is behind the zombie outbreak, and maybe occasionally take pictures of people in distress. And maybe he also wants to actually save somebody on occasion. As a photojournalist, you have skills involving photography, but I feel like now it's less stressed. More on that in a second. There are changes for modern audiences. You can no longer snap cleavage shots for erotica category points. But in this game, there's not much incentive to take photos because you level up mad quick. You kill a few zombies, you're flying up the ranks. By the time I completed 72-hour mode, I was level 30. I could handle myself. Now, despite the mall looking great, it honestly looks the way you remember Dead Rising looking. If, like me, you haven't played it in 18 years. Because you go back and you look at it and you're like, what? Oh, I mean, okay, it was on the Xbox 360, but come on, it's not the way I remember it. I think Deluxe Remaster is a good way to put this. It's not a full-on remake. The story is the same. You run across the same people. You run across the same survivors, the psychopaths. It feels very familiar, but there are quality of life adjustments. There's something different about the saving. Maybe it's an autosave about it, but you save every time you load a new section of the map. It's not seamless, unfortunately, but this does give you a lot of leeway. The survivors you rescue are slightly smarter, only had one instance where they got hung up on a door. But I will tell you this, there is no greater thrill in gaming than getting a cadre of survivors together, handing them some guns, some knives, some stabbing weapons, and having them fight zombies with you, and then bring them into the boss fight and have them go ham. And then when you finally get that group, that like tight-knit bond you have going together, you drop them off over in the security room. There is no better reward. And I think because of that dopamine hit, I was playing this game unchecked for 8 hours, not being able to put it down. Controls have been modernized. Frank can now walk while aiming a gun, and there's no bloom, meaning this is a crack shot photojournalist, unlike Leon S. Kennedy, alleged top agent.
I've covered wars, you know.
And maybe that contributes to the game being a little easier this time around, because I can now put down bosses pretty effectively. There are some hiccups in the game. I was using an Elite controller, and when I try to save clips, it would get the voices out of sync when it resumed, the Xbox processing on its end, and sometimes the frame rate dropped, probably related to that, and it could be patched later. Your cutscenes have new voices, and I think sometimes there's weird, awkward pauses. Now, I did spring for the Deluxe Edition, Collector's Edition. I paid 10 extra bucks so I could get access to some costumes and background music. You can change the background music in the mall to Ken's theme if you want, which I did. Is that a good use for $10? Probably not, but I do intend to actually do a live stream of the 7-Day Survivor achievement. It was my proudest achievement, right up there with Mile High Club Day 1. My proudest achievement on Xbox 360, to be able to play this game for like 14 straight hours and survive in a mall with limited resources and health always dwindling. I just think this time around it's going to be a little bit easier. If you get hung up in an area, you can accumulate zombie kills to work your way towards that authentic Mega Man blaster and be able to put anybody down. And I guess it's a quality of life issue. more of what you do in the Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster carries through. It's on your profile rather than just your save. Dead Rising is Capcom's other zombie franchise. It's a little bit goofier. But I love being pressed for time, having to go rescue people before they succumb to injuries, or have to deal with a psychopath while they're not on a lunch break. The game moves you along. Dead Rising Remaster is one of the best sandbox titles going right now, and I appreciate the fact that not being a new game entirely, it doesn't have next-gen pricing, instead starting at $50. Reasonable enough. And despite being a one-player experience, I think you're going to get your bang for your buck with this. I already feel like I have. I give Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster a 9.0 out of 10.
If you appreciate a YouTube channel that doesn't just pad out content to get to the 8-minute mark so that it can hammer you with ad breaks, then you should subscribe to my son's channel. You just got done watching it.